UC is to improve quality and global relevance of engineering education in India with the assistance of the global network of industry and academic experts. During the past 12 years, IUCEE, initially founded with support from the Infosys and global entrepreneurs N.R. Narayan Murthy and Deshpande, has catalyzed significant transformations in engineering education in more than 100 institutions all over India. Dr. Vedula sir, to talk, he has given invited talks at 60 international conferences all over the world. He has 25 peer-reviewed articles, chapters in materials and science and engineering journals, books, conference proceedings. He has graduated 15 students with MS degrees and 10 students with PhD degrees. He has generated research funding of more than $4 million at PI or co-PI from a wide range of government and private agencies. As a college dean at UMass Lowell, Massachusetts Lowell, he has successful in fundraising of over $5 million in scholarship, endowments, and equipment. He was key leader at the MA state level in building the MA STEM pipeline program and in establishing $15 million for the STEM pipeline in MA Economic Stimulus Bill 2005. The state of Massachusetts has awarded him Miss Mass High Tech All-Star Award, Mass High Tech All-Star Award 2001 Education. In recognition of his accomplishments in building collaborations between higher education, industry, and K-12 in 2001, Massachusetts Telecommunication Council has recognized him with the Workforce Development Leader of the Year Award in 2000. The governor of Massachusetts has recognized his leadership role in engineering education in the state by approving him to several advisory bodies, including the Regional Competitiveness Council Northeast Region from 2003 to 6 board member Merrimack Valley. So with this vast experiences
I think that's enough.
and work by sir, I humbly request him to be
Sure.
presenter of this
So I'll
session.
start sharing my screen again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I
I'll start
welcome you,
sharing
sir.
my screen. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you see my screen now? I think you can all see my screen, right?
No, sir.
We are able to see it.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, good
You have to become
afternoon,
the presenter,
everybody.
I think, sir. Yes, sir. Now, sir. Now we can see.
Okay, good. So welcome. Thank you all for taking the time to join this presentation. I may not take the whole 2 hours. I get tired talking so long. It's not, I think it's not, I think we have too many long lectures and people go to sleep, and that's probably why many people didn't attend today. So we'll try to keep it nice and fun presentation, hopefully. I wish I was able to interact with you more during the presentation, but I don't know how to make that happen in WebEx. If this was Zoom, I could have had more interaction with you and also have breakout rooms and so on, because I like to do that. But anyway, we will do the best that we can with the technology that's available with us. Okay, before I get started, I just want to spend just a few seconds reflecting on the past 1.5 years or so that the world has gone through a major it's a disaster, I would call it, because of the pandemic, and so many people have died, so many people have fallen sick, and as a result of that, there has been tragedy and pain and suffering to millions of people around the world. Some of us might have escaped that, but I think if you look around, there are many, many people who have suffered a lot. Some people have died, and so I just wanted to remember them for 10 seconds. Just be silent for a few seconds, and then we'll start. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about these three words which start with E. One is engineering. Then after that I'll talk about engineering education, and then after that I'll talk about excellence, which means improving the quality of engineering education. So that is the theme of today's presentation. And as you can see, Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, which is the organization for which I am working full-time now, which started about more than 10 years ago. And our goal is to transform engineering education in India, and we are doing it. And about 50 engineering colleges have taken this seriously and all over the country. And we're doing some small things to help the faculty and the colleges. So if you are, I'm not sure how many of you are from the colleges that we work with, but if you are, then I might already know you. If you're from other colleges around the country, maybe this is something useful. You might want to think about becoming part of this, what we're trying to do. Okay, so I'm based in Hyderabad after spending more than 40 years in the United States. Originally, I got my bachelor's degree from IIT Bombay, and in 1967, many years ago. And so I've come back and just settled in Hyderabad now. Okay. So any of you wants to get in touch with me, feel free to do that. And my email ID will be at the end of the presentation. So I want to start with what is engineering. Okay, so this is a slide. Let us think about it a little bit. Okay. Engineering is not something that we invented 10 years ago or 100 years ago or even 1,000 years ago. Engineering has been around for thousands of years, because engineering is a concept of designing or developing a tool to satisfy our needs. Okay, it's a process by which we develop a tool to satisfy the needs that we have. So this primitive, even today, even in the Adivasi world in India, you see many people like this. So thousands of years ago, people just had forests and wandered around, and they had a need, food, right? They're hungry. So they looked around, and some of them found that they could eat some fruit from the trees, something from the plants, and that's good. Some of them found that they could plant something, and something will grow out of the ground, and that they can eat it, maybe heat it up with some fire that they had and eat it. Then others looked around and said, we have some of these animals. These animals are running around. There's a the little rabbit, there's a little deer running around, and I thought maybe we can eat that. Maybe I can eat that. And now these are the people who were non-vegetarian. Obviously, they said maybe that might be something good to eat. So they said, okay, how do I? If I look at them, they are running much faster than I am. I can't run as fast as them. So I can just go approach them and catch them and then kill them. That's not going to be possible, right? So I have a need. I need food, and the food is running around, running faster than me. How do I get it? So I have to design a tool to kill that animal and then maybe cook it and eat it. So that's a need. So I have to engineer my way a tool to do that. Before the bow and arrow, they must have thought, okay, let me try to take this stone that is next to me and throw it at that animal, the rabbit or the deer. Maybe if I throw it hard enough, that I might kill it. But it's not easy, right? You can't easily kill somebody by throwing some animal by throwing a stone at it. So then they said, okay, well, maybe if I attach a stick to this sharp stone, okay, so I have now designed a spear, right? All of you know what a spear is. It's got a little sharp pointed tip and a long rod attached to it. And so I've designed a spear by attaching a stone to a stick and then using something from the tree to tie it up. And if I use that, then I have more control over the direction at which the stone is going. And so maybe I can hit the animal at the right angle and kill it at the neck or something like that. Maybe that's another possibility, right? So maybe that works. So I designed a tool which is the spear, and maybe I got some food to eat. then I said, okay, think some more. And if you look at it, the bow and arrow is not a simple machine. It's not very easy to conceive of how it was designed when it was first designed. Probably somebody looked around and says, let me take a look at the stick. Okay, I have the stick. And if I bend the stick and then I let it go, remove the force I apply on the stick, then it goes back to its original shape and size. So I've understood some law of nature, elasticity, right? If I bend it and release it, it goes back. Wow. Okay, so now what if I bend it and then attach a string to it? And the string I can obtain by looking at some things from the trees and from putting them together as palm string, and then attach it when it's bent. Okay, now I've got used elasticity to keep it bent, and then with the string, I've stored the elastic energy in the bow, right? So I've built a bow. Okay, then I said, okay, I'm going to take the little stick, and at the tip of it have a little sharp stone and tie it up, and that I make an arrow. And then I can take that arrow and put it on the string, and I pull it, and now I'm using the elasticity to create energy for the arrow to go really fast and sharp at the animal. So there's so much physics in this whole process. So it's amazing how people thousands of years ago could have understood intuitively this physics and used it to design bows and arrows and then use it as a tool to satisfy my need, hunger. Okay. So think about it. This is engineering mind in those days, looking at a need and finding a solution to satisfy that need. So so the steps were, I'm hungry. I see an animal, maybe I can eat it, but it's running too fast. How can I catch it, right? So I look around and say, there's a good stick, maybe I can bend it and attach a rope to it. And then the process, I'm learning some of the principles of science, which is required. I have to apply science to engineering. I'm learning some principles of science, elasticity, materials properties, materials behavior, and I attach a stick, and now I've designed a bow and arrow. Wow. Okay, so, and this has been around for generations now, okay? And today, you go to the Olympics, some young lady there competing from India, and look at the enormous sophistication of the bow and arrow. It's archery, right? Same bow and arrow, same principle, but enormous sophistication in this tool, which makes it easier for this young lady to be more accurate and faster and win competitions. And of course, if they wanted to kill some animal, they could do it too, right? So technology has evolved, but the basic principles are still the same. So this is engineering. You have a need, and you design a tool to take care of that need, right? So human beings have needs, and therefore engineering is there to help design tools that will volume is less. Okay, is it any better? I don't know how I might. Somebody's saying volume is less. Let me see if I can do anything about it. Can I increase the volume? I don't know. Is it any better now? Somebody was chatting. Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. Is it loud enough? Yeah, because somebody said earlier that volume is low, right? So I'm just trying to react. Good to hear all your chat messages. I don't know. Good. Thank you. I'll try to speak a little louder. All right. So human beings have needs, right? We need food. We need water. We need shelter. We need communication. We need to have good health, entertainment. We need to have transportation. We need to be secure, right? So just like we gave one example of a tool, engineering tool that was designed and built by the ancient people to get the food and kill animals and bow and arrow. Each of these needs some tools to be designed, to be engineered, to take care of our needs, okay? So I just focused on 3 of these, okay? 4, 5, and 6, communication, health, and transportation. Okay, these are our needs, right? We all have needs to communicate with each other, to move from one place to another, and to have good health, right? So how would I engineer some tools to help in this direction, right? So, over history, if you look at history, there are many tools that have been designed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, let's see if I can go to the next slide. So I want you all to think and text, okay, one technology which is currently being used to satisfy the three needs in the red, okay, just text. What technology is being used to satisfy your need for communication, to satisfy your need for health, satisfy need for transportation? Just text it, okay? Some of you just send me a smart short text message. What technologies are being used today, okay? Let's see what you come up with. Because I know you all can text. I've seen text messages.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. We can't hear you, sir.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry, I muted myself by mistake. Okay, so tell me, okay, and analytics, okay, data science, okay, so that is all fine. Those are all, but simple things. Today, what are you using for communication? Just phone, right? Health. Yeah, we're using some X-ray machines. Transportation, we're using a car, plane, okay, website. So these are all the things that we are using. Now, can you hear me now? Okay, by mistake, I muted myself for a few seconds. Okay, good. So we have you thinking about what we are using today, right? Now, I want all of you to go through a little exercise with me, okay? Now, this is a machine which has not been invented so far. What is this machine? It is a time machine. What is a time machine? You can get into the time machine. It's an imaginary machine right now. Maybe in the future, some people will invent it. It's an imaginary machine. You can get into the machine and travel in time. You can go backwards in time, forwards in time. Yes, H.G. Wells wrote some books about it, right? You can go backwards in time, forwards in time if you wanted to, right? So let's all get into this time machine, folks. Let's have some fun here, all right? Okay, let's get into the time machine, right? Everybody. And imagine yourself going back to 1921, 100 years ago. All right, just close your eyes. Spinning yourself, going back in the time machine, 100 years, 1921. All right, you get the picture? And then think of one technology being used 100 years ago to satisfy the same needs: communication, health, transportation. Just text me. 100 years ago, the technology being used for communication, health, and transportation. Text me each of those. Earlier, you told me a little bit about communication used today, right? For these things, technology. What's the technology being used 100 years ago? Communication, health, and transportation. Let's get some text messages from all of you, okay? Let's do it. Okay, Telegram, post, yeah, okay. Thank you, Raki. Rati says radio, okay, communication radio, yeah. Radio has just started by that time around 100 years ago. Anybody else? Come on. Ayurvedic medicines, yes, herbal medicines. Bullock cart for transportation, horse for transportation. See, now we are thinking. Everybody is waking up a little bit. Come on, I need a few more. Okay, health, transportation, communication. Some more suggestions from some of you. Let's do it. Come on. Transportation, yeah, Bullock carts. Okay, wonderful, Rati, thank you. Just 2 or 3 of you are active. What's other people doing over there? Okay. Okay, so railway. Okay, railway. Yeah, railway was around there about 100 years ago. Railway came in, still there. Okay, good. So you have letters. Yeah, you're writing letters, right? No email, no social media, nothing. Okay, telegram, horses. Okay, okay, good. So that's what it is. 100 years ago, right? Technologies. And now look around. 100 years ago, you see in your village your great grandmother, right? In this time machine, you've gone there. Your great grandmother is there. Oh, say, come on, grandmother, come with me. I want to take you on a ride. So get back into your time machine and bring your great grandmother with you to today, right? Today. And then have her look at all the technologies that we are using today. One should be amazed. One should be amazed to see the cell phones, the computers. You can actually talk to somebody 3,000 miles away and see their face. I can give a talk to 100 people like this and you can see my face. You can talk to each other. You can fly in planes from one side of the earth to the other. You can communicate. You have medicines, all kinds of medicines to surgery of the heart. You can replace the heart. Wow, okay? Compared to all the things that she is used to 100 years ago. Wow, in 100 years, enormous change has happened in these technologies, in all these areas of our needs. Just in 100 years, just imagine, okay? You were saying letters, and now we have all kinds of stuff, social media, email. Just 100 years. History is thousands of years, right? Within 100 years, some used bullock carts, and now we have driverless cars, okay, airplanes, and health. We got all these CAT scan at the top. Just you can go to next door and get a CAT scan, and so on. Okay, so technologies, amazing change in technology just in 100 years. And who has made this possible? Okay, engineers. Maybe you didn't call them engineers. Whoever we developed these may not have been called engineers, may not have got a degree, a bachelor's degree in engineering, but they had the engineering brain. When you have the engineering brain to design something and build something in response to a need, that's an engineer, whether that person has got a formal degree or not. They've got the engineering approach. They're engineers, right? Like the person who designed the bow and arrow 2,000 years ago did not get a degree, a bachelor's degree in engineering from some college, right? They just learn things. And so engineers in the last 100 years from different parts of the world may not have been actual engineers with degrees, but people who had the approach, engineering approach, okay? Human brain, human brain using the engineering approach though, okay? Now brain is not enough. Use the brain, use the engineering approach. You look at a problem and you find a solution to it. Okay, that's engineering approach to a problem. You find a solution to it and build something, a tool that is going, so a brain is not enough unless you use the brain to build a tool to satisfy your need, right? So that approach, just having a brain itself does not make you an engineer. Using a brain to build the tools, to look at nature and look at the need and say, I'm going to build something to satisfy that need using some materials from the nature and my brain to design something, try it out. If it doesn't work, I'll so on. Okay, so that's what happened, okay, in the last 100 years. Amazing. So these were done by engineering type people in the last 100 years. Okay, now next exercise, okay? Now get back into your time machine. Press the button, go forward 100 years. 2021, go to 2121. Okay? Open the door, get out in 2121. Now, tell me what you see. What are the technologies being used 100 years in the future to satisfy communication needs, health needs, transportation needs? 100 years from now, okay? Air taxis, okay, Gurdeep? Yeah, keep coming. Give us your AI, VR, virtual reality, space shuttle, okay? Sunil, thank you, Sunil. Yeah. 100 years from now, what technology are you using for health? A brain signal to communicate, self-surgery. Good, great. Yeah, keep coming. Use your imagination. See, right now, you just have to use your imagination, right? You don't really know exactly what's going to be there 100 years from now. Okay, let's hear a few more imaginative suggestions as to how you're going to take transportation, health, communication. Any other ideas you have? Let's hear one or two more. Let's go. Think about it. So you're having a tough time, right? Because difficult to imagine. Just like your grandmother would have found it impossible to imagine what a mobile phone would be. 100 years ago, your grandmother, great-grandmother, would have no idea what a mobile phone is, would have no idea what a computer is. Okay? They might have a little bit of idea what an aircraft is because it started happening. Okay? So yeah, mode of transportation like the Star Trek. So you can't even imagine because 100 years ago, people could not have imagined anything that many other things that we're doing today, right? Like open heart surgery and stuff like that, right? So the point here is that 100 years from now, there will be technologies satisfying all these needs, which we cannot even imagine. And those technologies will have been invented by engineers. Develop those technologies in the next 100 years. And these engineers will be your students. You are faculty in these colleges, your students and their students over the next 100 years, they will be developing these technologies for all our needs. And that's what engineering is about, right? So that's a brief introduction to what I think. Engineering, this is what engineering is. Taking care of our needs. And today, there are many needs. We still have the same needs, but higher level of sophistication. An important need today we have, which many of us don't pay enough attention to, is addressing things like climate change. India has some of the cities with the worst pollution in the world. That's a need. Clean up that air so that we can live a little more healthily. We might come up with fancy medical machines, but if we cannot clean the air, we're doomed. Can we find a way to solve that problem? That's a need. Waste management, clean water, energy which does not depend on pollution-related coal and stuff. Security. So the many sustainability kind of goals, needs that we have today, so we're finding that we're messing up the world. So the many needs today are related to sustainability. So again, engineers have to learn how to invent and develop technology that can take care of these needs. Not just think about, oh, I'm going to do AI and data science and artificial reality. Those are good. But can I also use my engineering brain to clean up the air, to clean up the water, clean up Ganga River, right? Being polluted, dead bodies floating around, all kinds of stuff, crap in the. Can we use our engineering brain to bring nature alive, back alive, make nature more alive, make our lives more comfortable, not just with artificial reality and new social media and new types of phones. Okay, so these are all needs, and they need to come up with new technologies for, waste management, for clean water, for, and sustainable energy and stuff like that. Not just go out into space and come back. I mean, that's fine, but but I think you need to look at the social, emotional aspects of human beings. And the needs not just for the people who have money, but for the millions of people who are out there in the villages who earn less than 1,000 rupees per month sometimes. What are their needs? How can we help the needs of everybody, not just of the few people who have the money, right? So that's what engineers do. That's what we have to get our youngsters in your classes to think about. Okay? Not just mug up something and pass exams. I'm going to use that phrase again and again, right? Right now we have the students in your classroom just mugging up something and passing exams, which means they don't really understand what engineering is. They think engineering is just mugging up something and passing exams. That's what they think, right? So let's next talk about what is engineering, what is teaching engineering, right? So let's go next. Okay, so they have to learn engineering by doing engineering. Our students have to learn engineering by doing engineering, not by mugging up and passing exams. You have to change, transform, and that's what we mean by transforming engineering education, so that they're learning rather than mugging up and passing exams. Mugging up and passing exams doesn't mean they're learning anything. It's mugging up and passing exams. That's what it is. Are they learning engineering? The only way to learn engineering is by doing engineering. Okay? So all of this is related to moving towards excellence in engineering education, right? First we said, what is engineering? Now we're saying, what is engineering education. All of you are in engineering education, you're engineering educators. But for the most part, all that you're doing is getting your students to mug up something and pass exams. Isn't that right? Think about yourself, your own brain. Is that what you're doing? Yeah, most of the time you are. That's what you're doing. I've observed, I've been to many, many colleges. Same thing is happening in the United States also, by the way, not just India. I'm not just blaming India. I'm saying everywhere in the world, people, it's easy to teach in a way that you expect the students to just mug up and pass exam because you can grade it easily, you can set the exams easily, and so on, right? So that's what we do for the most part. Teach them to mug up and pass exams. Entrance exams, mug up and pass exams. College, go to mug up and pass. They get exhausted. And that has become such a trend. Parents are telling the kids, mug up and pass exams, right? But that is not doing engineering. Okay? You cannot learn engineering unless you do engineering. Okay, let's just take a quick example of how to teach students to do engineering, right? What do we do to teach students to do engineering? All of you are teaching engineering, but I can bet that for the most part, you're just teaching them how to mug up and pass exams, not really to do engineering, okay? Let's look at it from a perspective of riding a bicycle. Okay, I want to teach a student to ride a bicycle. Okay, this is a bicycle. I want to teach how to ride a bicycle. Okay, so I'm a good teacher. I can teach a student how to ride a bicycle. Why not? It's like saying, okay, I'm a good engineer. I can teach a student how to be a faculty member. I can teach a student how to do engineering. Why not? I can do it, right? So I can teach a student how to ride a bicycle. So what do? I bring all the books I can find about bicycles and ask them to read these books on bicycles. Wow, okay, and mug it up and give them quizzes. How much do you know about bicycles? That's good. It's good information. But have they learned how to ride a bicycle? No. Okay, so I scratched my head and said, what should I do next? So I'll give them a lecture with PowerPoint slides about the bicycle. This is the wheel, there are two wheels, this is the gears, this is the seat, the handle, this is the frame, this is made of steel, and so on, right? In a lecture with PowerPoint slides. I said, wow, I'm such a great teacher. I'm giving them this lecture with all these fancy PowerPoint slides and equations about the bicycle. Have they learned how to ride a bicycle after this? No. They've learned how to mug up the information you gave them and vomit it out in the exam, but they still haven't learned how to ride a bicycle. So I scratched my head, oh my God, I still haven't figured that out. How do I really teach them how to ride a bicycle? So I said, let me show them a video of a person riding a bicycle. That should get them to learn, right? So I make a video of somebody, I put it up on the screen, said, look, there's a video here of a person riding a bicycle. Come on, guys, you should be able to ride a bicycle now. See that video? You should be able to ride a bicycle. Did they do that? No. Not yet. Oh, come on. I'm getting frustrated. I have a PhD in bicycle riding, and I cannot teach my students how to ride a bicycle. How come? Something wrong somewhere, right? So I said, okay, well, let me take them outside. So this should do it, right? Let me take them outside and show them a person that is on the street that's riding a bicycle. Look, that person riding a bicycle, look, it's easy. You can do it. Come on, get on this bicycle. Okay, so even then it doesn't happen. I'm really frustrated. Okay. So we're just teaching them to mug up and pass exams, not to learn how to ride a bicycle by doing all of this, right? The only way you can teach them how to ride a bicycle is by doing it, by riding the bicycle, on the bicycle. Simple. Mother does it for a kid. Get on the bicycle. Do it. Do engineering. Do bicycle riding. Fall down a few times. You won't get it the right time first. Okay, fall down a few times. As a teacher on the side, you guide the student how to get balance. Guide the student how to sit, how to hold the wheel, how to hold the steering. Balance. As a teacher, you watch them fall a few times, but then bring them up and then again balance them. And then eventually, gradually, the student learns how to ride a bicycle on their own. And after that, after a few years, go into Olympics and win races and so on, right? So you can only teach bicycle riding by getting them on the bicycle and letting them do it. Same thing with engineering. You have to get them to do engineering, not just mug up and pass exams, okay? Doing engineering involves, doing small projects, building something, building a little bridge, a bridge of cardboard or whatever, but doing something, right? Doing something to learn, to understand the basic concepts of engineering. So that's what it is. I know many of you have laboratories in which they do this, and that's good. Yeah, but for the most part, all of you are just getting students to mug up and pass exams, right? But the laboratories, projects, those are all good things. Okay, so continue to do that, but minimize the amount of mugging and passing exams that the student do, because students start thinking that is engineering. So for 4 years I want to mug up and I'll get this nice, beautiful diploma, degree. I'm an engineer. Oh, great. I'm a great engineer. What the hell have you built? What have you done? Okay. So, and we teach like we teach in the class on top, right? Engineer class A, everybody's in the low and you're on the board and blah, 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 just like you were teaching how to ride a bicycle. Show them what a bicycle is, show them what videotape about, we just show them PowerPoint slides and they learn. No. It's better to maybe break them up and have them do some, talk to each other and do something. So B, is a better way of teaching, right? So this interactive teaching dynamic classroom, so you can change the way you teach. So there's actually doing something about what they are learning, not just mugging up and passing exams, right? So this is how we teach, right? Big equations on the board, students just sitting passively. And at the end of the day, they don't understand why they're learning the math, physics, or whatever you're teaching them. So they just mug up. So we must change how we teach. And we IUC, we have a mantra which says, I'm teaching. Are they learning? Okay. That's our mantra at IUC. So, all right. So, the design process is what we need to do as much as possible in every course that we teach, not just mug up and pass exams. Okay. So students should be able to look at a problem, just like the old ancient human being said, I'm hungry. I need to catch that rabbit and kill it. So understand the problem and its constraints and do some research and then work together with other people, communicate with each other, and then come up with different possible solutions, different designs, trial and error. Okay, and then agree that maybe I'll try this one here and then develop a prototype. It won't work the first time. Test it, but it won't work. But then again, go back and say, okay, why didn't it work? Let's build another design. And so go back and forth till you eventually get something that works. So this is called the design process, the informed design process, also sometimes called project-based learning, different names given to this approach. This is what engineering is. This is what doing engineering is all about. Okay. It's not enough to give them just the problem and say, okay, just take care of it. No, you have to guide them through this process of how to research of the problem, how to work in a team, how to communicate, how to generate alternate designs. And once you have alternate designs, how to then look at compare the different designs and justify an optimal solution and then build a prototype and so on. So many times you will all say, okay, I'm doing projects in my classroom, I'm getting my course. But unless you use this process, the students are not really learning how to do engineering. They just give them a project, they'll do something, come back with something. Sometimes they even buy the project from somebody who's selling a ready-made project. Okay, so they take a shortcut to the project. They'll do something and come back and submit it to you and you grade them, right? Unless you work with them side by side, just like that parent was working, the student riding a bicycle. In each of these steps, mentor them, each of these steps. They learn the process. So this process, once they learn the process, they can use it for any problem that they face in their job or in society. They will use the same approach to solve and design new solutions to problems. Okay, so this is the process that you have to learn how to guide students to do. Okay. Okay. So the This is nothing new. Okay, you look at NBA. Okay, look at NBA. It has graduate attributes. There are 12 of them. The first 5, only the first 5, you can teach them inside a classroom. The remaining, you cannot teach them inside a classroom. You have to teach them by having them work on projects, many times interacting with each other in teams outside the classroom, doing some research about things. So teamwork, communication skills, impact of society, ethics, project management, lifelong learning. That's not part of the curriculum normally. It's not part of what you get them to do, mug up and pass exams. Okay, so those can only be done by doing projects. And doing projects not just by giving them a project and going away, but working with them, guiding them step by step through problem-based learning or to design thinking, right? So that's what we try to do. Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education. What do we do? I told you that's what I do, full-time job right now after retiring. We try to create an ecosystem to improve the quality of engineering education in this direction of doing engineering, not just mug up and pass exams. Okay. So when I talk about in this slide, I talk about the ecosystem, right? For improving engineering. What is an ecosystem? This is an ecosystem. You have the clouds, the sun, the wind, the mountains, green grass, the trees, nice clean water, and some fish in the pond, some plants, some agriculture, farming going on, some sand, some other things, and this young lady is nicely sitting there and catching fish and so on, right? All of these parts of the ecosystem, they support each other, they depend on each other. And when I have all of these ecosystem, clean air, water, rain, etc., I'm happy. I can sit there and live a very nice life like this young lady is doing. So same thing with engineering education. We have to have the right ecosystem to make engineering education better, improve it towards excellence. Okay. And so we have, IUC has many programs to nurture this ecosystem. It's not just one thing. So we have several programs. We have annual conferences, we have entrepreneurship course, industry partnerships, teacher certification, leadership summit, global partnerships, student chapters, green campus course, student conference, collaboration, and so on, journal. All of these are needed together, which will help the student, faculty, and the administration of colleges to improve the quality of the graduate that's coming out of the college. Okay, so that's what the mission of IUC is to nurture this ecosystem to improve the young lady as she comes out as an engineer, as an engineering graduate. Okay. So that's what we do. We provide this ecosystem and we do it with the help of global experts and many times using online technologies because the global experts are all over the place. Before the pandemic, we had some face-to-face activities, but now they're mostly online. But once we go past the pandemic, we might still have other things. Okay, so let me just give you I'm seeing we've been here at this for about 45 minutes. Let me just take a 2-minute break and I will be back. Okay, just give me 2 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, I'll get continued. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go and alert my wife that I will be a little late for lunch. Okay, I'm sure all of you also will be a little late for lunch. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, we'll take a few minutes to talk about how we build this ecosystem with the help of global experts. We have, about 100 global experts all over the world who are participating in this effort that we have to improve the quality of engineering education in India. Okay, that's the focus. Okay, right. So, we also have many colleges, and some of you might find your college names over here, right? Kanmani is here from BMS College of Engineering, and I'm not sure who else is here in the list. I haven't taken a careful look, but so they're all part of our consortium. Now, they pay a consortium fee because nothing comes for free, right? So you have to do many things which cost some money, staff and travel, etc. So anyway, we have 50 colleges, another 50 are interested, and so we are together build this ecosystem, okay, to help address all of these things that the NBA wants in order to improve the quality of engineering education, right? So what do we do? Okay, we'll give you a few examples. I won't go into great detail. A few examples of what we do, using some examples from the last year, 2020. Even though most of it was pandemic, we still had, the first part of the year, we had some face-to-face. So we have something called the teacher certification course. And here, how to teach. Most of us still just teach by by just standing up and giving a lecture and expect the students to mug up and pass the exams. So how to teach in a way that more student-centric, create a dynamic classroom where the students are interacting, they're cooperating with each other, they're so on, okay? And there's a lot of pedagogy. It doesn't happen easily. You have to learn how to do those things. Most of us have never gone to any courses which teaches you how to teach. You got a master's degree, MTech, or a PhD, and immediately after that you started teaching. Nobody has taught you how to teach. They told you what to teach, but not how to teach. You go up there, it's like saying, okay, here's the car, here are the keys, start driving. I'm not going to teach you how to drive. Just start driving. You're going to go out and kill people, right? You don't know how to drive. You've never learned how to drive. Samely, you never learned how to teach. And you're out there killing your student because you don't know how to teach. Okay? So you need to learn how to teach this, and the theories and ways to do that, and you can be taught how to teach. Okay? For the K through 12, high school, middle school, teachers have to go through a BEd program, but to teach in engineering college, you don't have to have any degree, any knowledge, not even a single course, right? So we have this program for teachers, and so far we have 1,000 faculty who have gone through this certification program on how to teach. This is in collaboration with a group in Austria, and it's called International Engineering Education Certification Program. It goes on for about 7 or 8 months. It's not coming to an ATAL FDP. You have to do work, okay? Not just sit and listen to some idiot like me talking, but you actually have to do some homework assignments, discussions, etc., right? And only then you'll be guided and so on, and then eventually. So you have to get the certificate. You demonstrate. You have to actually do some new things in your classroom and show that you have changed how you teach, and then only you get a certificate. It's only after when you teach engineering properly, then you get a certificate, not when you mug up something and get a certificate, or just listen to somebody talking online and get a certificate, right? That's what you're going to get. All of you are going to get a certificate today afternoon for listening to people all week like this. Have you learned anything? I don't know. We don't know. What's the outcome? We don't know. Okay? You just listen. And you want a certificate. Wow. And you want to put a frame around it, put it on the wall, right? What are you doing with what you learned? Okay, have you done anything? Have you practiced anything this whole week? But anyway, certification program is practice effective teaching. We have and then we have 304 faculty where we taught students how to use these technologies, online technologies. 80 faculty went through a course on how to do research, how to formulate a problem, how to design experiments, and so on, right? Then we had fewer faculty, how to write research papers on engineering education. We had some faculty on how to develop mobile apps for teaching. We had another course on soft skills. Faculty how to teach students soft skills. 90 faculty in that. Then we had lots of courses for students. This is a list of courses for students. We had a course on leadership for students where we had 25 institutions, about 10 institutions from each institution came together regularly with the help of international experts. We taught them about leadership. We taught them about the problems facing the world. We taught them about how as leaders should learn how to understand these problems and be entrepreneurial, be creative. We had them work on small projects, make presentations and so on, so develop leadership skills. We had another course on soft skills for students, another course, entrepreneurship course. This entrepreneurship course was taught by two faculty members from California. And so the students had to come up with some ideas that they would develop companies based on, right? And this was done to 35 faculty were mentoring them, 200 students, 20 institutions. So these are happening throughout the year. Last year they happened, and we had this all, and so on. All the consortium institutions got most of these for free because they're paying a membership fee. And those are not consortium, we let them come in, but they have to pay an extra fee. So we encourage more. But all this costs a little bit of money, not too much, but a little bit of money. It's not free. We don't have an AICT sitting out there giving lots of money, but yeah, this money is generated through just consortium members. Others, an artificial intelligence for all. Okay, somebody said, okay, AI is what we're using. AI can be used in every field of life. They're using natural intelligence, now it's artificial intelligence to do them more, right? So Professor Vermudi from California taught 300 students, not just computer science students, but mechanical, civil, how to use artificial intelligence, okay, how to develop small projects. Then we had some virtual labs, cybersecurity student courses for students, and some faculty. So we work with faculty and students because if you work with faculty and students, and later on the faculty will learn something and continue to teach the students some of the same concepts. We had a beautiful course on Clean and Green Campus. 100 students, 50 institutions, 12 institutions, faculty guiding them. So the students looked around the campus, what can I change to make my campus more clean and green? How can I use solar energy? How can I take waste management? How can I get cleaner water in the canteens, in the hostels that we're in? How can we take the garbage from campus and make sure it's more efficiently managed? Then we had Professor from IIT Delhi work with us on smart manufacturing. Then we had another company talk smart internships on artificial intelligence and so on. So these are things that we use, and the emphasis all is on doing projects, learning by doing. And to supplement all these, we have webinars, regular webinars. Every week we have one or two or sometimes 3 or 4, and all our members get information about this. And the webinars are from people all over the world, and some mini courses are offered this way, and so on. So this is just some statistics saying, hey, every week we have lots of stuff happening. We've been doing this for 10 years, and so hundreds of webinars and thousands of people have participated. And this is what I was talking about, the certification program. These are the 9, 10 people from international organizations all over the world, from Australia, from Europe, and from India also, and US, teaching these various aspects of certification. Okay. How do students learn? Okay. You have to understand that first, teaching and learning, principles of teaching and learning. How do students learn? How do people learn? What happens in their brain when they're learning? You need to understand those theories. How to design curriculum so it's addressing the outcomes. How to create a dynamic classroom. How to use technology. How to have collaborative learning. How to set good exams and quizzes and how to assess them. And they have to focus on implementing all of these inside a classroom. The classroom is your laboratory, right? You're trying something new. Classroom is your laboratory. So teach them how to use this in the classroom. So, and that's why it takes 6, 8 months to make this happen. And of the 1,000 people, another 1,000 are in the process, and so on, right? Another program is in collaboration with Purdue University. It's called the Engineering Projects in Community Service. Many colleges are part of this partnership. Here, the emphasis of project-based learning. And when you talk about projects, it is not always necessary to do projects, sophisticated projects for industry. That's good. If you can collaborate with the industry and come up with a sophisticated industry-related project, that's good. And sometimes in your courses, you would do that. But you can do projects with the community also. A neighborhood community, a nearby village, or a nearby a school, or or wherever. So you might be doing some project related to water, or education, or waste management, or solar energy, or something with a community partner, right? Or you might work with an old age home, or you might work with an orphanage, or you might work with a handicap facility, or you might work with some villagers who want some help in some ways, right? Project is a project, whether you do the project in a high sophisticated industry or a community. So the process of solving a problem that is the same. They're all the same design thinking process. You identify, clarify the problem, work as a team, communicate, come up with alternates, do some research on how to solve the problem, and then work as a team, come up with alternate solutions, and then work together to pick our optimum solution, and then build a prototype, and then evaluate it, test it, doesn't work, go back and do it again. The process is the same. So once they do a few projects in community service, they can, like Bill keeps saying, they can work with a space, ISRO, and build a space shuttle. But the process of building a space shuttle is the same as process of building a small solar panel in a village nearby. Okay, you have to go through that. Once you go through that process, you have the confidence to communicate, work in teams, to investigate, to research and solution to the problem. That's engineering process, doing engineering, right? All of these things that we do need a place where we share. So we have annual conferences. So since 2014, we've had annual conferences. And hundreds, thousands of people come and share what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, all their experiences. Faculty and leaders come and share. In the conferences, the faculty mostly, and the leadership summit, the leaders, the deans, HODs of these colleges come together and talk. Okay, I did this, it didn't work. I did this, it worked. How about you? Okay, in your situation is different. Why don't you try this? Oh, maybe I'll try this next year. So make plans for improvement. By sharing, not just sitting like frogs in a well in one. The frog sitting in a well at the bottom of the well, all they can see is the other frogs and the walls of the well. They don't know what's happening in the outside world, right? So most of our institutions are just sitting within their four walls and talking to each other and not really learning from outside people, right? So we try to encourage all the institutions to learn from other institutions, from other people from around the world, new things that are happening, and share and collaborate. That's what these things do, share and collaborate with each other. So we have student programs. Okay, every one of our institutions has active students. Many of them have formed formal student chapters. They do projects, they work with each other. They have a national committee that coordinates all the student chapters. And they have events. The student summit is coming up in September. 300-400 students will be talking, doing interesting stuff related to projects in the chapters and so on, awards. And so they learn through managing student chapter, they learn project management, they learn how to organize events, they learn about professionalism, communication skills, teamwork, just by having student chapters, just by planning events, just by doing things together. They learn the professional skills that are needed by MBA. Okay, so and so they get some guided by mentors and faculty and so on. So amazing stuff. Okay, they do some very exciting. And on top of this, because of some of us are involved with global organizations, the Global Engineering Deans Council, International Federation, American Society. So we have access to global experts to do these things, right? So this network helps us to work with our faculty so that our colleges, some of them say, okay, I want to have a collaboration or MOU with international institutions. Okay, so fine, we have this contact, let's work together, and so on, right? So this allows us to do that. And within the IUC community, we have regular meetings every month. These groups, teaching and learning centers, outcome OBE, project, each of them is a cluster that shares. So in addition to the annual conference or the annual leadership summit, we have monthly sharing through collaboration clusters. Okay. We have a journal. If you're an expert in VLSI or if such as artificial intelligence or data analytics, you will publish papers on your research, right? In a journal, it's 4% journal. Share with everybody else and get recognized in your resume. And then that resume get built up with lots of publications, and then you get your principal, somebody says, okay, I'm going to promote you, I'm going to give you a higher salary, I can recognize you for all the accomplishments, so you need to publish. That's what academic faculty do. So we have a journal called JEET, Journal for Engineering Education Transformation, which collaborate with Rajaram Bapu Institute of Technology in Maharashtra. So here is where you publish journals on the process of engineering education, not on the technology of VLSI or the technology of artificial intelligence or technology of robotics, but here you publish papers on the process of how you have improved engineering education in your classrooms. So that is engineering education research. So we have publications, and lots of our faculty publish papers. Even our annual conference, many papers are published in the journals and so on, right? Okay, so we have industry sponsors who are help us in various ways. ABET is a sponsor, Dassault System, MathWorks, and so on. Many people see the value of being associated with us, and that helps us out also financially. Okay, now I'm going to switch gears and spend another maybe 15, 20, half an hour or so. So I'm not going to take the whole 2 hours, so you would call up your home and say, okay, you're probably all sitting at home anyway, right? You can tell whoever is helping you with your lunch to, maybe you're the one who is doing it. Now this hang in there. In about half an hour, before half an hour will be done, and you can go and eat, and I will go and eat also. Okay. I'm going to focus now on an amazing thing that has happened in this country, the new education policy. I love it. Okay. Dr. Kasir Rangan and a team of experts at the top have said, we need change, we need transformation in higher education. And that's what IUC stands for, Transformation in Engineering Education, whereas they're talking about overall education. So a subset of education is engineering education, higher education, right? So if you look under the higher education guidelines, or NEP, they say we have to make our education more holistic and multidisciplinary. We have to provide optimal learning environments for supporting students. You have to have motivated, energized, and capable faculty. You need to transform the regulatory system. You need to have emerging technology. You need to have effective government leadership. This is front page headlines nowadays. Wherever you go, big webinars, big discussions, big documents. Okay, all people talking about it, right? That's good. It's good to talk about it. But as they say, the devil is in the details. How do you implement these things? Okay, implementation requires all of you in the trenches, at the grassroots, to take this seriously. Nobody in the top is going to magically implement these things. These are things that can only be implemented if you, at the grassroots, or the faculty and departments are involved in the process. There's no magic wand by which AICTE or MHRD can just magically change the education system to follow these guidelines. Only happen if you get involved, if you make the changes at your level with the support of people at the top. So we're trying some experiments with the help of this new education policy to expand some of the things that we're doing. And so, again, going back to this favorite slide of mine, our mantra, I'm teaching, are they learning? We must change how we teach. Otherwise, we will not be able to get holistic multidisciplinary education. We'll only get people who are mugging up and passing exams. Okay? So we must change how we teach. And this requires energized faculty like you. So we have to provide you the help, motivated, energized, and not just stand in front of a class and give lectures and hope somehow students will mug up and learn engineering, right? Not going to happen. We must get you, help you do a better job of doing things like this, design thinking, informed design process. The same process, by the way, is called different things in different places. Okay, you might call it problem-based learning. process is almost identical. Might call CDIO, conceive, design, innovate, implement, operate. Same approach, right? PDCA, plan, do, check, act, again similar. So it's all different groups of people, slight variations of the same process, right? Or doing engineering. This is doing engineering, and so many people have built frameworks around these. Okay, and that all the focus is changing how we teach. Keep in mind, and a lot of times, I like this cartoon a lot because it says that requires saying for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exams. Mug up and take the same exam, everybody. Okay, and the exam is to climb the tree. Okay, so look, all the people who are taking the exam, all the beings that are taking the exam are all different. So our system has to kind of optimize how we approach different people, how to get them to do things that are useful to society, right? Okay, so there's a text message that has come, rather long text, but we'll see. I'll see what I can do to address any of those things. So we must change how we teach, okay, towards this, these guidelines. We don't know the answer, okay? Just like I said, design thinking involves building a prototype, brainstorming, coming up with some ideas. We don't have the magic formula. We don't know exactly how to get there. We can only try some prototypes to see if it'll work in some limited way. So we are trying our own prototype, our own little experiment. After doing some brainstorming, to working as a team with several colleges, and implement it, and we learn from the prototype. We may not make mistakes, like learning a bicycle, right? I might fall down first time we try a prototype, and we get up and try again. So we learn by making mistakes. So we might make mistakes in this prototype. But the prototype is this. We have about 15 IUC colleges, institutions all the way from Chitkara in the north to Kalsalingam University in Tamil Nadu. Focus on the first year students in these colleges. One batch, not all the students, because you can't just magically do that. Let's do a pilot, a prototype. This year, coming year. Okay, so we're going to have about 15 into 60, about more than 1,000 students in this collective batch for a prototype. And we're going to do a bunch of different things. One is focus on the first year engineering courses. Okay, first year engineering, students learn mathematics, physics, chemistry, programming, graphics, workshop, and other things. Typically, all these courses are taught in such a way that students just end up mugging and passing exams, and they have no idea why they're learning them. So they're not seeing the connection between all these courses and engineering. In order to give them a more holistic, multidisciplinary education, we can still teach the same concepts, but teach them in the context of real-world examples. We teach them all of these courses, mathematics in the context of real-world examples, physics in the context of real, then they will have a holistic picture. They will see how these disciplines interact with each other. They'll have a multidisciplinary idea of what these courses are about, and that we're trying an experiment using real-world examples. So faculty from each of the 15 colleges who are teaching these courses, total of 150 faculty, are finding ways to implement more. Some of them already are doing it, doing a good job, but finding ways to more real-world examples and case studies in these courses which are connected to real-world examples, right? So that the students are, wow, okay. So how does mathematics, how do you have physics or chemistry? You look at just your home, where you live, okay? Have the first year student look at the home. You live in a certain home, right? And you say, okay, what are the technologies or appliances, or things that in your home are connected to physics that you're learning? Okay. Lots of things, right? You might have a refrigerator, microwave oven, electricity. All of these have physics principles in them. So just look around in your home. When you sit in your car, there's physics, chemistry, everything in there. Programming inside your car. It just has the features of the car. So anything that you touch and feel that you live in today has some elements of physics. Most physics has mathematics in it. Chemistry, programming is there. You look at a mobile phone, it's got all these concepts in there already. So connect these concepts, real world concepts, to the subject that you're trying to teach. Not just teach it in such a way that students are forced to mug up and pass. Just teach them in a way that they connect that to the real world, right? So, yeah, let's take a little break here. Okay, I put it in there. I want each one of you to give one real world example of the subject that you teach. So think about one of the subjects that you teach. And in the chat box, we haven't done a chat for some time now. In your chat box, give one real world example of the subject you teach, so that you can use that that you use that in your classroom. One real world example of subject you teach. Tell me the subject that you teach and the real world example. Okay, I'm going to wait for a bit. See if you can jog your brain a little bit. Do something besides just sitting there like a dummy and listening to me. All right. Okay, so a dam. Okay, that's good. Irrigation engineering, a dam. That's a real world example. Absolutely, yes. Okay, let's hear some more. Ethics, okay, Ramayana, okay, that's good. You have a story that which has some ethical principles in it. So, but is that what? So you teach ethics course. So that's nice. Good to hear that there's an ethics course that's been taught, and you're using examples. Don't just use Ramayana. Use the various other things like there may be things in various religions that teach ethics, right? So use various examples. Don't just hang up on one religion. So this include everybody. Other examples, okay? Only two people in the audience, I think, right? Everybody else has left and gone to sleep. How many people do we have? Participants. Click on that and see. 75. Oh, only two of you have chatted. Oh my God. What are you other guys doing? Just sleeping? Nothing going through their brain? Just sitting there? Oh yeah, when am I going to get my certificate? When is this guy going to get over? When am I going to have lunch? When am I going to get my certificate? When am I going to get doing a japam, right? Mantra. When will I get my certificate? When will I get my certificate? Let's get this thing over with. I want my certificate. I'm just going to sit here like a dummy. I want my certificate. Okay. Okay. Danica says teaching psychology. So you're talking about the real world depression, right? That's very important, Danica, right? What you're teaching is a very important subject because our students need to learn, besides learning technology, they need to learn about social, emotional concepts. Emotional quotient, it's called, not intelligent quotient, but emotional quotient. They come in the first year, all messed up in their head. They're all confused in the head. Their parents are saying something, society is saying something, movies are saying something. So they need to have a balance, right? Okay, so that's good. So blueprint, okay, graphics, blueprint of a home. Yeah, fantastic, okay. So yeah, keep coming. Okay, one example, real world example of subject you teach. Good, some of you are opening up, others are preferring not to, that's fine. It's your choice. So I'm hoping this has kind of stimulated something in your head. One real world example, okay? And hopefully the idea is that you'll do more and more, okay? AM receiver, okay, communications, AM receiver. Thank you, Kanmani, okay? Good. So that's important. Every lecture that you teach, try to think about a real world example that the students can connect to the world that they live in. This mathematics or psychology or ethics or VLSI. Make sure you connect it. That's what's going to give them the holistic multidisciplinary aspect of what they're learning. Okay. Okay. So, and anything related to your home. Okay. Some of you already have that. So again, you could think of various things in the home that students are seeing every day. So you don't have to go somewhere to some special industry. You don't have to say, oh, I can't go. I can't take my students to industrial visit. They won't let me in. It's too far away. How can I organize a field trip? No, you don't have to organize a field trip. The home is a field trip. In the home, they can look at construction, okay, estimation, cost estimation, project management. In the home, they can see, plumbing. They can see electricity, lights. They can see the, various aspects of the refrigerator, cooking range, water boiling, and pipelines. So many exciting things in the home. TV is there, right? So you don't have to go on a big industrial visit to see real world examples of some subjects that you're teaching. Okay, so in this pilot that we're doing, that's what we're trying to push faculty to think about real world examples of all the courses. In addition to that, we're teaching them some special courses, mini courses, problem-based mini courses, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurial. This is for first year students, by the way. Okay, all of these pilot program. leadership, sustainability, clean green campus, social emotional learning. Somebody psychology was there in the audience, design thinking, making them holistic multi. So these are value added, just one credit course. They meet once a week, but different courses and taught mostly by international experts from around the world, giving webinars and so on. But then faculty within the college will be mentors and make them do the assignments and grade their assignments. So it's not just giving lecture that I'm giving, but you have to do homework assignments. Somebody will grade them, right? And that is when you will really learn. But we don't have that today, but these students will have to do that. Somebody will give a lecture, the interaction of some sort through Zoom, and then they have to do assignments, and the faculty and the college will grade them, assign, and so on, feedback, etc. Holistic multidisciplinary, do projects, do real world examples. Okay, so we have spent the last few months training the faculty to teach in a student-centric way and to work to do problem-based learning. Okay. No audio. Somebody's saying no audio. What happened? I have audio, right? I have audio. I have audio. It says so. I'm not muted. Okay. Thank you, Kamini, for keeping everybody honest. She can hear. She can hear. Okay. So we have this batch, and we trained the faculty in summertime. So we've got teaching and learning, 150 faculty total. I went through this pilot training. 180 faculty have gone through the pilot training with our experts mini courses. These are the two experts from around the world, one in San Jose, one in University of Maryland, who have conducted the workshops for faculty student-centric teaching workshops for these 150 faculty. And then for the mini courses, we have Bill Oakes from Purdue, gave some workshop on design thinking. And the faculty who have taken these workshops are going to be now helping teach this course to first-year students in 2021, 2022 in the coming year with his help. He's going to give the lectures. The faculty are going to be grading and mentoring. Moody will be teaching the mini course on artificial intelligence. Again, a whole bunch of faculty from each of these colleges have got trained, and they will help him teach to the students, grade and assign. Then we have Pratibha. She's actually an educational psychologist. I think one or two of you are teaching psychology, right? So she's going to teach a course on social emotional learning, and she's from Australia. And so students in first year are going to learn about social emotional learning with the help of faculty. They'll do assignments and so on. This way they will learn to understand themselves better, become more holistic and more balanced. Entrepreneurial thinking. These two will help first year students think entrepreneurs. They don't have to start up a company in the first year, but thinking about entrepreneurship itself is innovative and makes your brain creative and gets you holistic and multidisciplinary, innovative, creative thinking, right? Then we have these 4 experts around the world who are helping us think of clean and green campus. So students in first year are going to come up with projects with their help, and the faculty will help them implement these projects in this mini course on clean and green campus. Then we have a course with all of these folks working on sustainability. We have Rajan, expert in buildings, sustainable buildings, Agami Reddy on sustainable energy, Prakasyam on waste management, Aditya Bhatnagar education, Rajaram on clean water. So they will give talks and lectures, and there will be faculty in each of the institutions who will be working with the first year students to do projects in these areas. So this will happen throughout this year, 21-22 academic year. Okay, and so that is about the pilot that we have for the 15 colleges trying to implement NEP, and the key word is holistic multidisciplinary. So the attempt is to get this pilot students in first year to get a more holistic multidisciplinary experience. So after 1 year, we will know the pilot has worked or partially worked or failed completely. We'll know that, right? And we'll assess it and tell people, okay, it worked in this way, it didn't work, we'll improve it next time. We'll scale it up to more students next year and so on, right? So we have to keep trying the engineering design process, keep trying the experiments and keep moving forward. Another very focused experiment is on project problem-based learning. Annette Kolmos from Denmark. She is they have a center, UNESCO Center on problem-based learning. So she helped put this symposium together in June on problem-based learning. 110 institutions, 600 participants came to that. And Gopal Joshi, who is the executive director of Karnataka State Higher Education, is a partner. He's from KLE Tech. They've done a fantastic job they do of problem-based learning. So they together held this symposium, which was very successful. Okay, so all of you have heard about problem-based learning, project-based learning or problem-based learning. I want you to text me. right now. Take 2 minutes to text me. What are the challenges you face? What's the most challenging part of implementing PBL? Problem-based learning or project-based learning. There's a difference between them, but let's assume they're similar. Okay. What text? I want to hear some text from you. 75 people, maybe hopefully 2 or 3 are awake and are thinking, not just sitting there like zombies. Okay. Identifying the problem. Absolutely, yes. Big problem. Identifying the problem. Okay. So finding the right problem. So getting problems from industry. You can't get them from industry. Identifying a good problem from the community or somewhere else. So that is where you have to get students to identify the problem. Okay. So this says faculty training. Yes. How to be a guide on the side. Okay. Making one alternative out of many alternatives. Okay. All of these are challenging. We are not used to that. Faculty are not used to it. Students are not used to it. Because most part we are in the environment of mug up and pass exams. We're not used to this different way of learning and teaching. Okay, so many challenges: faculty training, student orientation, getting the right problem, identifying the problem, finding the time to do it, modifying your curriculum so it accommodates all of these changes. So this is big changes that have to happen. Okay, so we are planning a lack of critical thinking exactly among the students, right? Good for you. Okay, so all of these have to be brought in. Aishwarya says delivering the desired outcomes. Yes, all of this stuff. So we said, okay, we have to, IUC can help, we'll try to help. And so we have an IUC PBL movement that is being planned right now. Okay. The two things that we're doing right away. One is a PBL mini symposium on October 9th and 10th. And some of you will, might get announcements about this, where you can tell us what you're doing here. We call it P2BL because we're calling it problem and project based learning, right? Type differences there. So what are you doing in your institution? What are you doing as an individual? Make presentations. You want people from all over India to, some are doing more than others. Come and share. Tell us what you're doing so that we can share and figure out a way how to help each other. Okay. So that's going to be a mini symposium, August 9th and 10th. Keep that in mind. If you want more information, just email me, right? And we're going to start courses by Pratibha and Veena and Claire on problem-based learning, certification courses, and we're working on the development of details of that. And so that we'll start rolling them out in this coming year. So again, you might have an opportunity to do that, right? I'm just going to quickly touch on something that's really close to my heart. Okay, this is one thing I feel very sad about, this last 1 year particularly, is that there's so many students all over the country who have not got any education in this last 1 year because the pandemic, because they are in schools and communities where online is not possible. They are from backgrounds where they don't have mobile phones or computers. There are schools and colleges, schools and communities all over the country. They've wasted their time, no education at all. What a shame, okay? I mean, I call this a digital divide because many of us who are in the cities and colleges which have good Wi-Fi and mobiles and computers, we've somehow survived. Okay? We've somehow made something happen, even though not perfect, but something, they've done something. But there's a group of people who have completely got left behind, and that's why I call a big digital divide. It's called the digital divide. The people who have money and stuff, those who don't have anything, that has become even worse because of the pandemic. Access to Wi-Fi, access to technology is not possible. Teachers also are not trained. So this community, I feel really sad. So that's something that we have to continuously keep thinking about. 15%, only less than 15% of rural Indian households have internet access. Urban households, still not that great, 42%. 13% of people surveyed could use the internet. And out of these, 8.5% female. Okay, so very small number of people can use internet. So how will they learn? If you stick them in the home and when they have this problem, right? So this has caused a huge digital divide. As a nation, as a community, I think it's our responsibility to think about it, not just sit in our own little corner and say, oh, I've got my Wi-Fi, I've got my laptop, I've got my mobile, I'm fine. No, the country as a whole should come together, find ways to address this. The scope of e-learning is enormous and help to realize the potential of each student, right? So this is an opportunity, each one of us, to go to the next level with the help of government and the private sector. Just assume, just think about it. If a group of students in your college, which has good Wi-Fi and good facilities, have learned something, maybe they can adopt a nearby school or in a village and help that school and the students and the teacher there develop the infrastructure needed to live in this digital world. That's what you have to say. Okay? So this itself is a project for the students. They will learn so much in the process of problem-based learning. Problems, the project for them to do with a nearby school. Okay? They do that, they will learn so much that they become much better engineers in the process. They become much more employable. They be innovative, creative, and offensive. It's an opportunity. So get some of the students in your class, say, okay, adopt a nearby school, analyze the problem. What is the situation there? Okay, do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have computers? Do they have content? Analyze the situation, do some research, investigate the problem, and then find possible small solutions that you can implement there and guide them, train them, and build prototypes and so on. So amazing things we can do, right? Engineering students can address these problems. Okay, so this way, not only are the students addressing the problem, they themselves are learning, engineering students are learning to become more employable by becoming entrepreneurs and leaders. They're using they're doing engineering by helping high schools improve themselves in terms of how they deliver education. So, okay, so that's really, I'm come to the end. I told you I'll end up about 1:30. Coming to the end here. And if you have any questions, again, just want to re-emphasize the design process. And I will end this one question. Are you willing to do anything about the digital divide, and what will you do? Okay. It's pretty much the last slide. So just text me. Are you willing to do anything about the digital divide? Have I, the last 1.5 hours, entered the mind of one or two of you? Hey, let me do something about project-based learning and about the digital divide. Okay. It will take all of us, it'll take hundreds and thousands of us to do little things to make a difference. Light, as I say, don't complain about the darkness, just light a candle. Are you willing to light a candle? Join us. All will light candles, and pretty soon there'll be a huge light for everybody. Okay? Thank you, Sunil, for saying that you'll collaborate and learn. Okay? So I just want to end by saying Jai Ho. My email ID is there, Krishna at iuc.org. It's Indo-Universal Collaboration in Education. Okay? So I wanted to give you a little break, not take up the 2 hours. I know you're all hungry. I'm hungry. Share, care, and collaborate. There you go, Joseph. Good. Share, care, collaborate. I like. Oh, that's a good thing. You added the care part of it. I like that. I'm going to use that. Okay, I'm going to steal that from you. Okay, I've always been talking about sharing and collaborating. Now you gave me the idea to put in the care over there. Share, care, and collaborate. Good for you, Joseph. Anybody else give me some good ideas? I'll steal shamelessly from your ideas. Okay, give me some brilliant ideas and I will steal them. I'll give you some credit, Joseph, for giving me those ideas. Other thoughts, ideas? Okay, I'm back. 81 participants. Good for you. Anybody have any questions, comments before we let Renuka close the show? See Renuka peeping over the top of her laptop. All right, guys. I hope this was useful. I had fun. Something to think about, right? We'll think. There you go. Ubuntu. What is Ubuntu, Joseph? Ubuntu. Is that a African language for share, care, and collaborate? Ubuntu. Right. So keep in touch. I gave you my email, Krishna at iuc.org. If you want to get involved, if you're already involved with IUC, I know Kamini is very much involved. Maybe in this group might be. I think Sunil Kute's name sounds familiar. Sunil. So I think some of you are, yeah. Jeho. So Sunil knows the Jeho part of it. Okay. Namaste. Thank you. Chilukuri Bala Venkata Subbarayadu. Oh, long name. Thank you very much for inspiring your lecture. Anybody else? So this is, I mean, when you saw the title, right? Excellence in Engineering Education, you probably wonder what the hell is going to talk about. This is it. All right, Renuka, you can wind it up so all of us can go out for lunch.
Hello, participants.
Big echo coming from somewhere, but anyway, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us wonderful examples from your side as to what is done in NEP 2020 implementation and how you have put in your efforts to bring this US Baldrige framework into your education institutions, the university and different institutions. So on behalf of all the participants, my principal and my dear participants, I thank you very much for being on this FDP at this hour. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Great.
sir.
So Baldrige and all that is other fancy words, but just keep it simple.
Yes, sir. That is just to bring a change in education.
Doing engineering, yeah. Make students
Yes,
do
sir.
engineering,
And
not
that
just
to
mug up it,
engineering
not just mug up.
education.
Yeah, those are fancy
Yes,
words,
sir.
Baldrige and all that. That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. Jai
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mahadeep. Yeah.
So now it is the end of this FDP. All of us will meet at 3 o'clock exactly for the valediction function, which will be completed by an hour or so. So by 4 o'clock, all of us can be free. Okay. So I will end this session. Meet you at 3 o'clock. All of you, please be in time at 3 o'clock. Okay.